a single Canadian on this roster who was born when Canada made their last semifinal action at a FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. That was back in 1986. Or are the USA just too strong and too powerful? What do you think?
Well, I love that stat. I don't know, they're young, wild and free, that's for sure. And Canada, for me, from the jump in this tournament, has been getting better and better and better. They have really found their groove, and they're feeling good. I've been in some of their press conferences. That woman right there, Bridget Carlton, has really made a run and is actually up for maybe the tournament MVP. You know, she's played good minutes, and she's scoring a whole lot. She's had a tournament high of 27 points and 8 rebounds versus Mali. So they're feeling good. Their offense is also beautiful. They have some nice flowing movements, good screens, and the hit shot shown up.
I agree with you. Tournament MVP chatter possibly for Bridget Carlton. And it's not just what she's doing on the scoring end. I think defensively she has been very consistent. If not MVP, in my mind, she's an all-star 5 at this tournament so far. But there's still 2 more games for Canada. If anyone has anything to say about shutting down Canada, it's going to be the USA. And how about Alyssa Thomas? We saw her there in the slow-mos of the warm-ups. 3.2 steals a game. Talk about a defensive stopper who can also do it on the offensive end.
Yeah, well, she is so strong. She's averaging 10.7 points a game, so she's doing it on both ends. And also, she has torn shoulders, I think. She's never had them fixed. So that's a nice shot right there also. I've had that moment in the Olympic Games when I faced up against Australia. It's kind of like a warrior moment where you're both in the back and you're just staring each other down. But going back to Thomas, has played really strong. Obviously, she's coming off of the WNBA finals. She lost to the Aces, but now the Aces are her teammates. So hopefully they've got over that. But she is playing solid on both ends, and she'll be looking to really be an engine point. But then you've got Stuart. Who should we talk about today? There's so much goodness in the Team USA this evening.
I agree with you, Azania. I think the power of this USA team is it's their starting 5, but also what happens when they go to their bench. There is no dip in production as far as scoring points, getting out and defending. And honestly, watching this USA team compared to maybe some other championships, the last FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup, the last Tokyo Olympics, I think it all comes down to they really want to set the tone defensively. Compared to maybe a little bit before where they were kind of an offensive-minded team. Cheryl Rivers, the coach of the USA, has got them locked in defensively.
Yeah, Cheryl Reeve, she is definitely, at one point they were down versus Korea. She didn't like it. She ripped that 5 and she put in a defensive unit. So you're right, this is the first time that they've really focused on defense. And you know, I think you say it best, defense wins championships, right? And right now they're trying to lift and get one step closer to lifting that trophy. Offensively, though, they've got 7 players averaging in double digits already. You know, what I always say as they come out is why America is so strong is because their starting 5 could be the 5 on the bench that are waiting to come in. So they are 12 strong, they're 12 deep, and whoever you sub in, it doesn't drop off, and that's what's so difficult, and that's why I find America so strong and so hard to beat.
Well, you talked about those 7 players in double digits for the USA. They are averaging 104 points a game, and let's not forget that game against Korea where they scored
a record
145 points, which is now a FIBA Women's Basketball world record for points per game, or points in a game at a World Cup. So congratulations to the historic mark that the USA have already accomplished. Can they continue this reign of championships? This is their 10th consecutive semifinal. If history is on their side, Might be
pretty good.
Might be USA at the end of this tournament. But this team right here coming in, Canada, maybe has surprised the world a little bit. We talked about Carlton. Who else are they depending on in this tournament?
You know what? I've really enjoyed Alexandra too. She has been solid on the rebounding effort, especially on the offensive end. She's giving Canada second and third opportunities, and that's so important. She's been tough. She's had fantastic games. She's had tournament high of 19 points and 8 rebounds. So she's solid. And then going to their guards, where do I even start? You've got Kia Nurse, who's on a 20-minute restriction still. I actually got to ask her at the press conference yesterday. I said, hey, Kia, are you still on that 20 minutes? She said, yep, sadly I am. But, you know, she uses that 20 minutes to the absolute max. And she's averaging 10 points in this tournament in that 20 minutes. And then for me, I love Colley and Fields, solid. We've seen a lot of time that they've played together, but their jump shots are amazing, and also their ball handling. They really, channel this Canadians' offense.
Yeah, you said it. I think having Naira Fields for Canada coming off the bench and giving them that spark offensively is definitely something that Victor LaPena, the newly appointed coach since February of Canada, he has utilized her skill set incredibly well, and it is paying off for them as they are playing in their first semifinals since 1986, Azania. So those are today's games, semifinal here at the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup at the Sydney Superdome. Canada taking on the USA. And next, after that, we have Australia taking on China. It is going to be a packed house, folks. Well, that is the road to the trophy. So the right side of the pool is Canada going against US. US beat Serbia, Canada beat Puerto Rico. We will take a quick break for the playing of the national anthems.
Now, the national anthem of the United States of America. And the national anthem of Canada.
Well, obviously these two teams know each other very well, both playing in the FIBA AmeriCup. and they have played each other many, many times in the past.
Yeah, and talking about knowing each other, Bridget Carlton and Natalie Achangwa know Cheryl Reeve very well. They are coached by her in Minnesota, and then also as a team is the referees for this evening.
Well, calling today's game is Julio Cesar Anaya Friel from Panama, Andrea Silva from Brazil, and Viola Giorgi from Norway. So congratulations to them being appointed and rewarded doing a semifinal here at the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022 edition. And really right now, in my opinion, Azania, all the pressure is on the USA. They're the ones who are expected to win, move on to the final. So do you think that will give a little bit of freedom to the Canadians? Maybe they'll play a little bit more relaxed.
Nothing to lose type vibe. Maybe, yeah, that's a really good point. We can't also forget that Bjarna Stewart is the MVP, and then she's got an assistance there by Alyssa Thomas. 13 points, 14 rebounds, that's massive, and 7 assists in the quarterfinal just yesterday. And talking about just yesterday, if they do win to the next game, that is tomorrow. It's a lot of basketball in a short amount of time, so they've no doubt rested up, tried to focus, re-energize. But going back to your point, is the pressure on the US? I think there's always pressure, but I think they do so well because the bullseye is always on their back. Everyone wants to beat USA every day of the week, so I think they'll be fine.
Well, if Coach Cheryl Reeves has anything to say about it, they are not going to be affected by having the bullseye on their back here today.
Did you think she looked a little nervous then, or no?
You know, I think she is so experienced that she has been here. She knows what it takes to win championships, as she has with the Minnesota Lynx. And you mentioned it, Carlton, who plays for Reeves. So obviously she knows the scouting and how to defend Bridget. You said it, Azania, the 15 points, 7 boards, 3 assists in the quarterfinals to help Canada make this semifinal game against the USA. Victor Lapena, he's been around. He's been at World Cups with the as an assistant with Spain. He's been to Olympics. He also knows what it takes. Let's not forget Spain. They medaled back in 2014 in Turkey. Both these coaches are incredibly, incredibly experienced and know exactly what they need to do to get their teams to play at the highest level. And I think this is what we've seen by both these teams. They have progressed as the tournament's gone on.
Yeah, I think Victor Lapena's really got this Canadian team in a lovely position. They trust him. I've also been in their press conference. They talked about, and we get to see the starting lineups of USA. Go ahead.
So USA, they're gonna go with Lloyd, Gray, who's been incredible, Wilson, Stewart, and Thomas.
Solid.
That's a very high-scoring,
solid as a rock.
Defending. You know, you mentioned Alyssa Thomas, the double-double. Don't forget, she has 3.2 steals per game. I think Chelsea Gray has been on fire since those WNBA finals, and absolutely superb both ends of the court. And Canada, no surprise, going with their typical starting lineup. We have Nurse, Carlton, Achangwa, Colley, and Alexander.
They've been starting with this lineup the whole tournament, so that's a fantastic starting lineup, especially with their vet group, with Natalie Achangwa, Kia Nurse. They've played a lot of basketball and a lot of basketball for Canada, so they'll look to get them going. And then Alexandra, I've spoken about, solid on the boards, has been playing very well. And I said about Lapena there, as you see him, Victor, he changes up defenses. He likes to throw in a zone. He puts in a press, man-to-man, switches. So I think we're going to see that today to try and confuse maybe USA, as this is their 10th time qualifying for the World Cup. What a lovely stat on your screen for the semifinals.
So not a bad statistic there. The 10th consecutive semi-final for the USA.
I just sneaked in and heard Carol said they want to slow it down. We don't want to go slow. So that's interesting. They're going to probably be Speedy Gonzalez from the rip.
So it's the TISO countdown. We are just under a minute away from the first semi-final here at the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup in the Sydney Superdome. There has been some great basketball played at this World Cup. Look at that, 4 turnovers against Puerto Rico in the quarterfinals yesterday. The least since in the last 30 years, Azania.
Now that's
Talk about taking care of the ball.
They take care of the ball, and I also got to speak to him. He said, hey, that's fantastic, right? I said, Coach, that's a wonderful stat to have. And no doubt they've got to look after the ball today. It's so important that they do not have any critical, silly turnovers. They have to look after the ball, and they've got to execute.
I agree with you, Azania. You cannot risk turning the ball over against a USA team that knows how to get out and run. Well, we are moments away from tip-off.
The FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022. The best in the world in the Sydney Superdome. Are you ready? If you are, make some noise! You know what time it is.
Good afternoon and welcome to the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup here in Sydney, Australia. Semi-final action, game 1, USA taking on Canada. Stewart gets it off to Gray. And that ball is gonna go off the knee. Carlton hustles down, picks it up, finds Alexander, who just goes all the way at Stewart, but she can't finish. Now Thomas finds Lloyd in the corner. Off the mark, Alexander with the defensive board. You mentioned her rebounding. She has been excellent rebounding for Canada.
Yeah, she's really doing a great job. And they turn over USA from their first possession.
Achamwa up to Carlton. No, fake the handoff. Nurse, tough shot. Stewart with the long arms and the rebound. Thomas easily to the basket. You got to slow down and pick up the ball and really put pressure early.
Yep, I would agree. They have to.
Nurse up to Colley, finds Achamwa. Kick it back out to Nurse. She's gonna have to create something. She does, that's off the front of the rim. Gray with the board, and now USA with another opportunity to run, and this is where they are the most dangerous. And how about that? Stewart, you don't pick up people on the USA, they are gonna score. As Stewart knocks down her first three-point shot.
They're not gonna miss, especially Stewart, when she is wide open. She's got her feet set and nobody in front of her. Transition defense for Canada right now, looking probably a little sloppier that I've ever seen them yet in this tournament.
Carlton's shot is blocked by Thomas. I mentioned it, Thomas, she has the double-double in points and rebounds, but for me, it's on the defensive end that she is excellent. And there you see the block.
And a quick 5-0 run for USA.
How about that? Wilson just easily seals it. That's a great read by Chelsea Gray, though. I think they made eye contact. Do you think these two people play together?
Oh, maybe. And do you think they got a championship? Yep, I think they do. And out to a 7-0 run. I wonder if Coach LaPena is going to call a timeout here if they do not score on this next possession, because they need to stop the bleeding. USA have come out strong. Make that 8-0 run.
And really, all of their baskets for the USA, they've come quickly. They're not using the shot clock, where Canada are using that shot clock. You know, you heard Reeves say that they want to, Canada wants to slow it down. We don't want to slow it down. You can't take too long against a good defensive team like the USA, as Canada now with a turnover.
And subs are coming in. We're gonna see Fields and Emmy here coming pretty quickly, and I think that's a good idea. He's not calling his timeout, so he's gone to his bench. Good idea.
So quick 8-point lead for the USA. They get it into Wilson. Back to Thomas. She posts up a smaller Carlton. Not much you can do if you catch the ball that close to the basket.
Yeah, light work. down low. 10-0 right here. He's said, yep, he's put the tee up and he said, I've called the timeout. They need to score here, Alexandra.
Well, great spin move by Alexander, but that's off the mark. So nice offensive possession as the USA are out running. Stewart's shot off the back of the rim. Fields now pushing the tempo for Canada. Fields, one of the prettiest jumpers in this tournament, is just not able to make that jump shot. Gray. Again, they're looking inside to Wilson. That is a tough matchup for Carleton. As Gray drives aggressively to the basket, nice little kiss off the board.
Yeah, and here comes the timeout. Maybe should have came maybe 4 or 6 points earlier. America looking like the great that they are in the basketball world, because Canada have not come. This is the first time that we've seen them not come out strong. They look a little sluggish and slow. Well, listen in to the timeout.
Score 150 points with this aggressivity. No, okay? We are not scoring. Doesn't matter. At least we are not taking bad decisions in the last two, okay? But this is our intensity in defense. Talk about that we are the best defense in the tournament. Come on, use your fouls at least. Oh, Aya Wilson here. They post up. You're close to Aya Wilson. Go here to give problems. Hang a little bit. Contact with them. Come on. Yeah, and be more aggressive in one-on-one. If finally layup, offensive rebound, and press them. What is the problem?
All great points, Shona, because I think they're playing a little afraid, or if you come out, USA are going to smell blood, and right now they're onto them big time. And Coach LaPena there just says, come on, even if we're not scoring, those are good shots that we're taking, but we've got to defend. They're not getting back in transition. They're not matching up. They're making it easy.
Yeah, maybe the first time we've seen Coach Victor LaPena in this tournament rather upset with the way that his team are playing as far as intensity and aggressiveness goes.
Well, this is the first time that they've been down this whole tournament also.
Carleton to Colley. A little shake and bake by Colley as she elevates, not able to score. Fight for the offensive board, ends up in the hands of Wilson. Now the US are pushing the tempo. Stewart in the corner. Her three-point shot is good.
Too easy. Beautiful basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Way to move the ball, drive it in the paint, kick it out to a wide open shooter. And guess who the shooter is? It's Stewart.
Fields to Colley. Emmy here, she's open. Thinks she should have shot it, gets her ball back. Shot clock winding down. That one is well off. Wilson with another defensive board. And here, look at this. They just get out and run. I mean, it's 2 passes and the ball's already inside the key. Gray back to Stewart. She's already knocked down a couple. Nice patience here by the US as they go inside to the mismatch. Wilson and a wide open Lloyd is not able to finish.
Good way to move the ball around the rim, inside out. And there, I think that was more of a scout on Emmy here, and left her wide open. And she likes to drive, clearly. And here she is on the drive.
Well, good job there. And Canada ends their scoring drought with about 5 minutes through the first quarter. But on the other end, it's Stewart with a tough left-hand basket.
I can't believe it's taken Canada 5 whole minutes to get a bucket. They've been on a donut for a minute, and they finally get 2 points, and they're already nearly down 20.
And what a pass from Gray to Wilson again. Great Vegas connection, I guess you could say.
Champagne mummies, for sure.
Fields now trying to run things for Canada. Carleton has not seen an open look yet in this game. She gets it back. Tough jump shot, might have been touched a little bit by Thomas. And what about that? She was out, blocked the shot, and then first person down on the other end.
Yep. Mishandled there by Gray, but gets it back.
And she just can't hold on to the ball, so it's going to be Canada ball as Coach LaPena is going to make a couple substitutions here.
Yeah, and very upset with herself here. And this is the nice dime, right on the money. Nice leaning layup for Asia Wilson.
It's a perfect touchdown pass. She even passed that ball with her left hand as she's a righty. Well, Atkins into the game for Lloyd. In red, number 7. Nurse coming off of a stagger is not open. Fields gets it back. Finds a rising Colley. Colley catches, shoots off the mark.
And we usually see Colley hit that, knock that down. Her 15-footer jump shot is so pretty right now, rimming in and out. Nothing going right for the Canadians.
Thomas. Nice defense by Achamwa, comes up with a steal. Nurse goes right at Atkins, who is going to be called for the foul against Nurse.
Let's have a look at this.
A lot of ball, but
that angle could have been a lot of a hand as well, the other way.
And when you're not knocking down shots, you got to stay aggressive if you're Canada and try and get to the free throw line and get some of those freebies, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Atkins did get back, gets her body in the way, but Kia Nurse for 2 at the line.
Nurse goes 2 for 2. So now the score, Canada 4-19 with just over 3 minutes here to play in the first quarter. Plum into the game. Kicks it up to Stewart, reverses it to Laney. She drives baseline. Nice find to Thomas, and an easy 2-point basket for the USA.
Nice drive by Laney, but do you see what I mean? You sub out Lloyd and you put in Plum. Now, it doesn't drop off.
Fields open, and that shot is too long as Kia comes up with the offensive rebound. They go inside to Amy here, who can't hold on to the ball, and now the US are off and running. Watch out, that woman, you mentioned it. Great shooter is Plum. Passes up a shot, actually, in my opinion.
Well, she just came off the bench, you know, warm up the knees.
Laney, nice defense. Fields comes up with a steal.
Canada even struggling to do simple things, pass and catch.
And how about that defense by Stewart? Plum just goes all the way. They don't even know who has the ball in the red jerseys as transition defense for Canada. What do you think about it?
Yeah, Canada absolutely crumbling right now. Everything that they've done so well and so hard in this tournament, they're not doing. They're not doing their basics of their offense, but let's give USA credit to their defense.
Amy here drives, loses the ball. It's gonna stay white ball as there are 6 seconds remaining on the shot clock. And Jones from the US and Hill from Canada checking in to the game late here in the first quarter. Look at that.
Yeah, took it right out the air. Stewart said, give me that one. And they're off to the races, and nobody picks up Plum. Easy, comes right down, puts it up for 2.
Yeah, I really think the US, as soon as they come up with a steal or a rebound, you need someone on the ball. You need to find a player, doesn't matter if it's your position. Fields, tough jump shot is off the mark. Laney with the board. As she drives aggressively, and it's gonna be an offensive foul. She wanted the foul to go against Amy here, but Amy here held her position, took the contact, and is gonna be rewarded.
Let's have a look here.
Take a look, yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah, just kind of barreled in and dropped that shoulder. Hit her first there. Let's have a look. This is a good, yeah, it's more because it's a hit to the face as well. They're very, the referees are all over any action that is, you know, towards the face. It's the foul.
Well, if you want to beat the USA, you're going to have to take the contact, and great job there by the youngin of Canada. Emmy here, as she's going to go out and get a little break. And Che, number 22 for Canada, checks into the game. Fields to Achanwa. They find an open Nurse. And Kia's Nurse's three-point shot is good.
Needed. And talking about a young'un, Che is only 18 for Canada, number 22.
Hill is going to be called for the hand check.
This must be a really lovely moment for Che, being 18, playing USA. I remember playing USA, you'll never forget it.
Lovely moment, great learning experience. Hopefully not her only time she will get to play against the USA. Canada in a 2-3 zone. Nice, excellent spin move there by Jones.
Well, Che, welcome to the big girl club, because that was a lovely move by Jones on her.
Hill, step back, jump shot off the front of the rim. Plum comes up with a rebound. And loses the ball, but gets it back. Austin now kicks it out to Atkins. Nice pass inside. Atkins takes the contact and isn't able to score. Austin, excuse me, is not able to score, but she will go to the free throw line.
Austin, I've watched a little bit of her. She played in Washington. She's only 22, but she was a rookie there, and really lovely minutes. She's not afraid of the moment. She really stepped up as she heads to the line. I like her. Strong body, tall, long and lean. It's a good look for USA to have her coming up and to play big minutes.
Yeah, you said it, this USA team, they have experience, but they've also taken a couple young players, one of them being Shakira Austin, who is at the free throw line right now. She's also one of those 7 scoring in double digits, so clearly she knows how to put the ball in the hoop.
She had 19 points, Big 10 rebounds against Puerto Rico.
Carlton almost trapped, finds Nurse. And it's going to be an offensive foul going against Natalie Achanwa. As you see her, or we see her, just walk off the court. Because that is her 3rd personal foul.
That's big. That's big. That's going to be a big loss. But referees have been all over. As Plum will turn over, the referees have been all over screens this tournament. If you do not have your feet set, if you're not there solid, they're calling it.
5 seconds left for Canada. Can they get a decent look at the basket? Hill, spin, shot hits nothing but backboard. So after 10 minutes of play, a very slow start for Canada as they trailed the US by 20, 7-27 at the end of the first quarter.
Well, if Canada don't slow down the US, they're on task for another 100-plus game. They're 8%, 1 from 12 for Canada. That is pretty much scoring drought down under here in Sydney, Australia. We get to watch the best plays of the first quarter, and no doubt it is all America looking oh so fine. The defending champions looking good, firing on all cylinders.
And I don't think it's just the offense of Canada. I know they only have 7 points, and you need to score to win basketball games. That's evident. The highest scoring team wins the game, correct? But how many shots by the USA were actually open shots and really open looks?
Correct. Yeah, and that's such a good point. And that's when Victor LaPena took out that timeout and said, hey, can we match up? Can we be physical? Listen, if you leave them wide open, they're too good. We're talking about a full roster of WNBA stars, have played many games with USA. And, you know, if you do not pick them up early, they're going to embarrass you. They're going to come out here and give you buckets.
Well, you said it, Azania. Canada down 20 to the USA after 10 minutes of action here in the first semifinal of 2 today. Historically, not a good sign for Canada.
No, and 7 points isn't going to do it. Now you're in a big hole a big, big hole. Anyway, go ahead and download your Courtside 1891 app. I have it on my phone, so does Shona. And it keeps you up to date with the latest scores and the games that are coming up. 7 points in 1 quarter is very, very low, one of historically low in this tournament. The last time somebody scored 7, it was Greece in 2010. So, yeah, they've got a lot of work to do, but they can just chip away at this and play prideful right now. You've got Canada across your chest. Play harder.
Well, second quarter action underway here. Can Canada find the shooting touch? They did check in Koenig, definitely known as a shooter. Hopefully she can lift Canada up a little bit as Colley finds her extra pass to Carlton. Carlton's three-point bucket rolls in and out. Alexander with the offensive board. Carlton pull up.
Good.
There you go. That's a better action by Canada.
Much better action. And you know what? We've seen this offense that they run, and they usually get that wide open jump shot at the free throw line. They're not getting it and have to work way harder as Atkins puts up a shot there.
Nice elevation by Atkins, but she's off the front of the rim. So opportunity for Canada to climb back into this game. She finds Alexander. They go inside to Che. And Che takes her time, can't score, comes up with the offensive board, and that is a swat by Austin.
Austin said, get that out of here. Collision down the other end.
And Austin doing it on both ends of the court as she is rewarded for running hard after coming up with that block.
You know I love post play. That was beautiful. Block down on one end, and she's running down the other. Right on your head, Canada.
Koenig. Shot is blocked by Atkins.
Well, it's a block party around here, isn't it? Better get the drinks out. Here, look at this. Get out of here, young buck.
Fourth block shot for the USA. Carlton. Shot clock's winding down. She slips. Isn't able to get the shot off. Colley does, and it goes in. Well, not the prettiest looking shot, but it doesn't matter because that's 3 more points for Canada.
And that's more like it, Colley. I've seen lots of that this tournament. They just need a solid stop here and keep chipping away.
Lloyd. And nice hands by Canada as Austin, well, Che gets her back with a block of her own, and Canada come up with the ball. Colley now.
I love it. Post action going at it. Down low.
Gives it up to Carlton. Koenig. Drives. Alexander just loses the ball, and it's going to go back to the USA.
Really good hustle. Gets her hands in here, Plum. And this was Austin with Che double blocking. Hey, she remembers. She got you got me down there earlier. Right back at ya.
Well, good job there. Filipina Che, the 18-year-old, over 2 meters, 6'7". She's going to get to go to the bench for a little bit of a break as Koenig picks up a foul trying to guard Plum.
And we're going to have to see Che play probably way more minutes than she has with Natalie Achanga with 3 fouls. That puts Coach LaPena in a bit of a sticky situation. So he's gone, and she's played minutes. She hasn't played a lot, but at least she's got some under her belt. You know, she wouldn't be too nervous, maybe.
You don't think she's too nervous?
Well, I mean, she had those nice blocks. And then the hustle here. Good job. The arrow sticks. Yep, sticks with USA.
Well, there's the hustle. Every ball counts.
Much better basketball from Canada this quarter.
Maybe it was nerves. Maybe it was the USA.
Yeah.
So Canada back into that 2-3 zone that we've seen them go into on the sideline out of bounds. So it's going to be a steal. Nice hands by Alexander. Carlton comes up with it.
Much better defense.
She's open at 3. She's been excellent from the 3-point range in the last 3 games for Canada. And this is what the USA does. If you don't stop the ball early, they get fast break points, and a great job there by Lloyd, taking it hard and the contact.
And I'm really a fan of Lloyd. I think she's so solid. She looks after the ball, but boy, does she get out in transition too. She's oh so quick here. Pass from Gray. One dribble up and takes the bump and the finish. And one at the line.
And I just have an impression that Gray has every single assist for this USA team already.
Well,
I mean, they do have an 11 assists on 13 made baskets.
Right. And when you see Gray with the ball, her head is completely up all the time. Her eyes are looking down court.
Kali, three-point shot in the corner, back rim, Gray with the board, and she, like you said, look at this, eyes up, finds Lloyd, gets it back to Gray. Little pull-up jump shot, no good. Carlton with the boards. And you mentioned it, Canada, every opportunity, unless they're wide open, they're slowing it down on the offensive end.
Yep.
Emmy here, three-point shot attempt is good. That hits nothing but net. So great start to the second quarter for Canada.
Much better. They've already got more points than they did in the first. They've got 8.
High-low look, and Carlton comes from behind and is able to block Jones. Good defensive read. It was a nice high-low from Stewart to Jones.
Good recovery from Bridget Carlton.
So they're calling it an inbound violation, I believe. I heard the referee. It was weird. It was Stewart wanted actually Plum to take the ball out of bounds, but she threw it along the baseline, and you can't do it. So, you know, you can travel on the out of bounds.
Yeah. Well,
so ball back to Canada.
Yeah, and that's another turnover for Canada. They've done well on the defensive end. See if they can get a score.
Nurse gives it up to Fields. She goes inside to Che. Che comes back up with the ball, and she just cannot finish, but she gets her own rebound. And a good job there, sticking with it, is Filipina Che.
And she kept the ball high.
Wilson just drives right on Che. So good response by Asia Wilson.
And we haven't even spoken about Asia Wilson.
I know.
Man, she's having a good tournament. Obviously, she arrived late to the team.
Emmy here, shot fake, just takes it right at Wilson. Can't score. Che there for the offensive rebound. Putback's no good. And now Lloyd gets it up to Gray. Gray, spin move, little fake, finds Wilson. Two-point jump shot is good.
Beautiful. Two-man play right here, and teammates and champions. You can see the connection between those two. That is money. And Canada need a timeout here. Look at this. Finds her teammate on the baseline. Beautiful jumper. And we said we haven't spoken about Asia Wilson. Well, we remember about you now, honey.
Up. If we don't score, okay, it's the same side, 15 seconds later. They set the defense. You know why? Because if we don't score, they run 2-on-1. They run 3-point. They run, and we don't want this. Okay? 4 is working. Perfect. But here, fake, go. Even you can go as a pointer as well. Okay, 4. Shemi. Ace. And you have to run, You have to run because you are coming back super slowly. And we have a problem. Philly, are you okay? You are ready? Are you ready? Come on, for Philly, rest. Here we go, come on, White.
Well, there we have it. Coach, oh, guess who's in the house? Little goat, little Spanish goat.
Mr. Pau Gasol, a FIBA ambassador here, cheering on these two teams. So great having him here.
Yeah, he's a big fan of women basketball, and obviously this is the biggest stage.
Well, let's see if Canada can continue this better shooting. But you heard La Peña, every time you miss, they get out and they play 2-on-1. Fields just can't hold on to it, so good defense there by Lloyd.
Yeah, and this is a play, like I said, Canada run a lot, and USA Lloyd just running through the passing lanes. They're being very aggressive, really pushing them out of their stuff.
Foul is going to go against Amy here. Gray, who has been spectacular for this USA team, finds Stewart.
Man, that's
How pretty is that?
Man, when she sets her feet like that, beautiful arcing rotation on the shot, nothing but net, and splash for 3.
Fields goes baseline, tough shot off the backboard. And this is what the USA does. Another great touchdown pass by Chelsea Gray to Alyssa Thomas running the floor.
Well, make that her 7 assists.
And how many do they have as a team?
14. She has half of them.
Amy here, strong take off the mark. Stewart with the rebound. And again, USA running. Lloyd is open in the corner, gets it back to Stewart, who just drives all the way, and it's going to be a foul call going against Canada on that layup attempt by Stewart.
And here's the foul that we see, multiple fouls. And USA really in a nice groove. They're moving the ball, whoever's on the floor really. They're giving up good shots for better shots, and really look like they're having a nice time out there. Smiles all around.
Well, Azania, I think they have a lot to smile about as they are up. There's 3 minutes and 35 seconds in the second quarter. Canada, a better second quarter than they had the first 10 minutes. 17 points, the USA 41 points as Stewart makes the second of 2 free throws. And the USA already have 8 players who have scored for them.
Yeah, that's why they're so good. It's so difficult to defend. Who do you stop, you know?
Achanwa thought about it, then turns it over. Wilson, nice defense. Gray. Little shake and bake action. Great defensive read, though, by Sammy Hill as she picks off the ball and then saves it to Nurse. Achanwa now trying to pass to the cutting Nurse, but that is read well by Stewart. Ball out of bound. It's going to be Canada ball. 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Just under 3 minutes of action in the second quarter. Fields. Pull-up jump shot off the mark. Thomas there with the defensive board. Lloyd step back jump shot.
Oh, that was pretty. And they foul her, so she'll go to the line. And Fields will take a well-earned rest and head to the bench as Bridget Carlton will now come back in. Nurse is on 10 minutes shown up, so she's only allowed to play 20 in total. She's just coming back from her knee, so they put her on a 20-minute restriction.
Well, 2:30 left in this quarter. As you see Nurse there with the ball. And that ball's tipped, ends up in the hands of Wilson, and another opportunity to add to this lead for the USA. Thomas. They find Gray. Her three-point shot is off the mark. She hasn't had to shoot a lot offensively because she's been assisting.
Slicing them up, yeah.
Nurse, spin move. No good. Wilson with the boards, now Gray.
And Canada having to work so hard for an offensive look.
Nice ball handling. How about that fake? As a little hesitation gets Alexander on her heels.
Ooh, Shona. Gray is in her bag right now. Beautiful hand and dribbling skills.
And look how far away from the basket Canada is forced to catch the ball. Carlton needs to put it up. She does, uses the backboard, so good job there. And nice clock awareness. And now Stewart. Jump shot off the mark. Offensive board for Thomas. They get it to Gray. Well, Stewart missed that last jump shot and make that 2 in a row as Carlton comes up with a defensive rebound. Nurse is open. Her three-point shot, no good. Tough defense here by Nurse. Gray falls to the ground and just throws it up. Wilson somehow catches it, takes the contact, shots off the mark, so nice defensive possession. There's about a 3-second differential, shot clock and game clock. I imagine Canada will try and hold it.
Yeah, a great defensive possession there. Nurse on Gray really locked her up.
Carlton up to Achanwa, hands it back to her. They find Alexander, she's open on the baseline, it's no good. Great job there by Achanwa though, with the offensive rebound, keeps Wilson away from her as Wilson fouls Achanwa on that putback. So with 4.5 seconds left, Canada with an opportunity for 2 more points at the end of this quarter.
And you can see by Achanwa's face, a little frustrated. She manages to get that rebound and gets to the line.
So good job there by Natalie Achanwa as she goes 2 for 2, and no surprise the game because she has those 3 fouls.
Yeah, smart stuff.
4.5 seconds left. Guess what? The USA are talented enough that they could score as Stewart is going to be called, though, for the offensive foul. It was Bridget Carlton guarding her. Let's take a look here. Yeah. The little elbow at the end.
Chicken wing, nah. I don't know about that one, but.
Well, either way, I imagine Canada are going to let this play out. That was a long 2.5 seconds. And the referee says, no worries, I was counting. That is the end of the second quarter as Canada are trailing the USA 21-45 after 20 minutes of action. So, difficult offensive outing for Canada. They've only scored 21 points. The USA 45 right on their mark, actually a little lower than their mark at half.
Yeah, and the stats are going to be so telling for Canada. 4 from 25, shooting 16%, 23%. They're begging the gods for something to go in, but it's all USA for me. They're winning the rebounding game 24-18. Assists, pretty number, 14-3 Canada's, and they've only stolen the ball 4 times. But Canada did a much better as Nurse leads all scorers with 5, and Stewart with 12. Canada did a much better job in that second quarter, scoring double what they did in the first. They scored 14 points, where that first quarter they only scored 7, Shona. That's not enough at this level. But guess what? We get to watch the best plays of the first half.
Well, you talked about it, Azania. Everyone on this USA roster is more or less a star in the USA.
Very good point.
But we know that Canada also has some great basketball players. They have WNBA talent. We talked about Bridget Carlton, Natalia Chamwa. Let's not forget Alexander. You have the young Leticia Amy here at one of the best NCAA schools in South Carolina with Dawn Staley, one of the GOATs of the women's game as well. You know, do you think, I think it's normal this late in a tournament, the US, they haven't had to play a lot of minutes because they have such a solid bench.
Very true.
And we saw there was no dip off in scoring when the US went to their bench players, whereas Canada, they're struggling a little bit. Is it nerves? Is it that the USA are just that much more talented?
Yeah.
What do you think is going on?
Well, I think USA are so long and lean. They've got long arms at the 3, at the 2 position, and then you've got this woman here scoring, Asia. So for me, I think it's the US defense. We spoke about at the top of the show that they're really focused on defense. They're really locked in to defense. So that's really shown to stop a team like Canada, who've been playing so well, to 7 points. That is really just hats off to America on their defensive end. And then in their offense, they're completely opposite to Canada. Canada want to slow it down. USA want to go as fast as possible, and Chelsea Gray is part of that speed.
Well, we will be right back, so don't go away. USA leading Canada 21-45.
Who will you become when the moment arrives and you're carrying the expectations of an entire nation, representing your people and their dreams, the colorful faces in the streets, the screaming fans in the stands? It's time to make your move. All eyes on you, all hope, all heart. Because when you win for all.
Chamwa gets that shot out of here, falls in the hands of Hollingsworth.
Van Loo behind the screen. Linskin's on the roll, misses.
The rim protector, Magbagor, coming from the weak side, well read.
Thomas. Coast to coast for Thomas off the feed from the outlet. And this is USA's game. One for 2. Talbot, spin, takes on the right. What a beautiful finish, Steph Talbot.
Lee. Really no movement here by the Chinese players, but she takes it all the way on her own. Is Lee Yuan.
Wow, Lee, nice finish.
The ball around Thomas on the block, poked out Georgievich. Anderson trying to beat everybody there. Weak side feed, beautiful finish, Ratza. Serbia stringing together a couple of great plays. Thomas comes on heavy. Down low, backdoor look, it's blocked. Stewart smothering.
And that's the challenge you've got playing against Team USA, the athleticism and the size.
How about that to end the first quarter, folks? What a game do we have for you. Look look at this, at the buzzer, Mina Torre. France, they got to put it up, but they turn it over to Lee, and now China with an opportunity to run. Huang to Yang.
The foot race too fast. Not one French player got back in there, and there was many Chinese on that transition.
So Vucevic, little pump fake, she drives down, and Thomas rips it from her belly. The kick to Jones. Finish complete.
Well, again, you got the bigs running the floor like that. Nice leak out by Jones.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the first of two semifinals here at the Sydney Superdome. And the top scorer for the USA is that woman, Breanna Stewart. She has 12 points, 3 of 3 from the three-point line, just doing a little bit of everything for this USA team. Azania, the last time the USA lost was 16 years ago to Russia at the World Cup that was taking place in Brazil. What do teams need to do mentally to not maybe be intimidated by them? I just feel like teams go up against the USA, and this is a different Canadian team that we're seeing play here today than we've seen all tournaments.
They're not even like doing simple things, catching, passing. Is it, you know, USA being stronger, leaner, longer? I don't know. It's not like it should be a surprise, but the thing is, in my experience that I've played USA, it's not, you don't know it and you don't feel it until you're in it, right? So you can prepare for it mentally, but until you physically get in the game and feel the strength, how long they are, then you start to realize. And I think that's what happened in the first quarter. And then in the second quarter for Canada, they started to feel that physicalness and that longness, and they started to play much, much better. But that's too late. Being down nearly 20 points in the first quarter, that's a lot of work to do, you know, unless USA just lay down and die and burn, they're not going to give up. You know, they're going to put more points on the board. Like we've spoken about, this US bench is so deep. Yes, okay, it's Breanna Stewart with 12, but then you got Alyssa Thomas with 8. You got Chelsea Gray, Wilson with 9. Like, you've got a lot of players to stop. I would have loved to see their scout, Canada. Who should we stop? Because as soon as you stop somebody, somebody else is stepping up into that scoring position.
Yeah, Azania, I think really defensively, Canada, too many opportunities to the US off of a missed Canadian shot. They get the defensive board, and then they have Chelsea Gray, who's already around halfway mark, you know, at the half court, and she's just passing it to the sprinting bigs who are running head down and beating everyone down the court. You gotta almost tag up the rebounder and have someone there so it's not an easy outlet pass so they can't get out and run.
Yeah, Chelsea Gray with 7 assists, Shona. That's a pretty number for your first half. And Pau Gasol is in the building. He loves a bit of women's hoops. He's here, sideline action. He's got his foot on the wood. He's got a nice seat, better seat than us, Shona. We're right behind him.
Yes, we are. What a wonderful career and many World Cups Pau Gasol has played in with Spain, as he is talking to the FIBA Secretary General, Andreas.
I got to see a little clip on Instagram, and they talked about Kobe and USA as they come out, but when Kobe was in a USA uniform and they were teammates at the Lakers, and the first play, Kobe runs through Pau Gasol's chest and he just shows him, hey, we're not friends anymore. It's go time. So as it's go time, Chelsea Gray will do a little speed walk out, and she'll start to warm up as we got about 4 minutes until the second half of action.
Well, Canada have dug themselves a hole. A little bit better job offensively in that second quarter as they scored 14 points compared to just 7 points in the first quarter. You mentioned it, Azania, they were down 20 after 10 minutes. And they also did a better job defensively in the second quarter, only allowing 18 points for the USA compared to 27 in the first quarter. But for me right now, you have nothing to lose if you're Canada. Maybe a little bit of intimidation. We've seen this time and time again. A lot of teams, for whatever reason, and the big reason might be it's because they are so talented, but if it's not that, I don't know why teams change the way that they play when they go up against the USA.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. I do think Canada need to just calm down. They've played much better in that second, but also they've got to go back to their fundamentals, right? You need to send solid screens. As we see, Asia Wilson will be the player to focus on, has 9 points and 5 rebounds, and she's shot 4 from 5. Nice little stat line. But yeah, going back to the basics, set good screens, get your teammates open, drive and kick, make USA have to play defense and move. But boy, they are looking very good, America, right now.
Yeah, they are, and I think, like Canada, except for this game, they have improved every day and every game that they have been here at this FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. We know a few players arrived late because of the WNBA Finals.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so they were still finding their groove. They were finding out their style of play, what they were going to do, who was going to play, what your role was.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I spoke to, who did I speak to? Atkins at breakfast the other day, and she said, look, we didn't get our full team until the ladies got here from the finals. So imagine that. A lot of these teams have been together, but USA didn't even have their full squad. They worked out and trained in camp in Vegas, and then only a week ago, they got their full squad. So really, they've needed all the practices and all the games to get their kind of flow, their swag, and their identity. But when you got big stars, it doesn't really matter. You know, it doesn't take too long. Just play hard.
Well, we mentioned the WNBA players for Canada. Let's not forget Kia Nurse. I know she wasn't available this summer, but she knows these women very well. Aislinn Koenig, she played at NC State. These are women who know these women.
Right.
I think it's just about going back to the style that Canada has been playing. Physically, they need to be more tough. They were one of the toughest teams that we saw in Group B.
Yeah. And they were pretty much unstoppable. They lost right at the end to Australia by 3, but they were unbeaten in group phase. But when you come across over and have to play the US, it's not an easy task.
Well, you see that woman, Natalie Achonwa, 3 fouls in the first half. So she spent quite a bit of time on the bench. Big free throws at the end of the second quarter. Canada, big tough win over Serbia to start this tournament, 67-60. And then they came out and physically dominated France, in my opinion, 59-45. We saw them fall to Australia, like you mentioned, Azania, 72-75. They beat Japan 70-56. Big win over Mali, 88-65, and then that comfortable win over Puerto Rico yesterday, 79-60. And that was the road to this game for Canada. Let's see if we're gonna see the tough Canadian team we have seen all tournaments.
They need to show up now.
Welcome back to the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup here in Sydney, Australia. It is semifinal action as the USA are leading Canada 21-45. Shona Thorburn alongside Azania Stewart calling today's game for you. Carlton, she's got Wilson on her, puts her head down, drives, Nice little body control there as she banks that shot off the backboard.
Good job by Carlton there. Just gets her body in and creates that space. And good start by Canada.
Gray to Stewart. Stewart elevates. Back rim. Carlton with the rebound. Fields in the starting lineup now for Colley. That was a 1-foot step back, no good. Alexander fighting for the rebound. Ends up in the hands of Lloyd. She's still fighting for that ball as Lloyd now, and a better job by Canada picking up these USA jerseys in their transition defense. Gray now, spectacular first half. Some spectacular passes, actually. Yeah. Lloyd, tough layup, no good. And it's gonna be white ball.
And
as
Lloyd
falls.
Yeah, that was quite a heavy fall. And glad to see that she's up. Let's have a look here. Trips in the driving motion. So that one's gonna hurt tomorrow.
And Azania yesterday in that quarterfinal game for the USA over Serbia, they won 88-55. Remember, we saw, and we forgot to even mention this because the US has so many players, Kalia Copper, she went down and she has not played yet for the US, and I don't believe she's dressed either.
She's not even on the bench.
Nurse turns it over. Wilson, 2-on-1, just takes it all the way. Carlton gets a hand on it, and they're actually gonna call a jump ball. So good job there by Bridget Carlton getting back on defense.
Lovely. Wilson with the steal.
And Kia Nurse there, maybe 1-2 dribbles too many, especially against that step-out defense.
Yeah, you're right about Copper. She's not on the bench.
Stewart. That is her second three-point shot out of the exact same inbounds play.
That's her favorite spot, is looking like that baseline three-point shot. Good for Brianna Stewart.
Carlton. Thomas gets a hand on it. Kicks it up to Fields. Fields, strong penetration as Lloyd goes down, and Stewart comes up with the rebound. Gray, you mentioned it, her eyes are always up trying to find her teammates running. Stewart, little jump shot in the key is good.
So nice. Brianna ain't playing with you, Canada. She's coming out hot and heavy in this second half. 17 points.
And there we see Fields take the contact, not able to make it. And Brianna Stewart already with 5 points in this quarter. Let's listen into the timeout by Canada.
Play, slap, okay, because their defense has help. Okay, Orieto, pass to her, and his basket. Use your phone.
What time it is right now?
Use the phone. You have foul, right? For to do. You have foul to give. Your foul. And please, can you just one? I'm going to tell you just one.
The search results
If
for Google.
okay, play on ball screen with Stewart.
For the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022.
Just one thing, but you're telling you are sweet. Here, okay? Come on, play. Hey, 40 is working. Play motion. Okay, play as well. Horse down to pass the ball pitch against Aya Wilson here.
Well, quick timeout by Coach Victor LaPena as he does not want this lead to balloon even more. I mentioned it, Stewart, 5 points already in this quarter. The USA have been averaging 104 points a game in this tournament.
Well, right now they're on task with 50, and they've still got 7 minutes and 38 seconds to play. No doubt they will hit that 100.
You said Coach Cheryl Reeve after the game against Serbia was really impressed with how aggressive, especially in the first half, Serbia's defense was, right?
Yeah, they commended that, and here's the turnover. They said how strong and physical the Serbian game, and they were happy. They were glad that they got that test.
Wilson goes inside. Nice hands by Amy here. And I think it's going to be a foul. Looked like a block to me, and we sure know Leticia Amy here can block shots. Well, that's a tough call going against Canada for sure. As Wilson and there, sorry, go ahead.
There's Copper. We spoke about, there's so many stars to talk about, but yes, she took a big hit the other game, and thank you for showing her. So she is in the building. She's got her,
I'm not sure what it was. Someone said leg, groin, knee. Not really sure. Have not been updated. Nurse. And that's going to be a double dribble by Nurse. So possession back to the U.S. as now Stewart is leading, taking on the point guard role for this USA team. And how talented do you have to be to go from playing, you know, a post to then being a point guard?
Or point
That's how
forward.
talented she is.
Like
Yeah, that's what we want to call it?
Yeah, I like
Okay.
to call post players point forward. You know, when we get fancy, I'm a post player.
Amy here had a good first half, goes right at Stewart. Stewart's going to get a block, and Amy here trying to get that ball, just steps out of bounds. So another turnover by Canada, and ball back to the USA.
And here we see Stewart's block, maybe a bit of arm as well, but they're playing tough and solid, and she can do it all.
Stewart. Gray gets it back. She stops, she pops, in and out. Achanwa with the rebound. Nurse gets Lloyd off of her feet. Shot clock.
I need Achanwa to be aggressive. Here we go.
Finds Field open in the corner. Three-point shot is good by Naira Fields. Nice pass by Natalie Achanwa.
Much better. Achanwa needs to look for her offense too. She can't forget she's a scorer.
Well, Canada here out of that timeout. They are switching. Fields tries to go for the steal on Wilson, but is going to be called for the foul.
And
there, yeah.
The nice pass to Fields, good baseline hit, and she's solid from there. A real low scoring quarter for both of these teams. Canada has only scored 5 points this quarter, and USA really slowing down in their scoring, only 7. And Nurse will come out because she's on 17 minutes.
So Coach Reeves now going to her bench, as you see the captain of the USA team, Stewart. Get a little bit of a breather. Canada in that zone. Wilson left open at the free throw line is off the mark. Hill now in the game for Canada.
Canada lucky on that one. Asia Wilson really wide open on that jump shot.
Carlton, nice slip by Achanwa, layups off the mark, but what an offensive rebound by Leticia Amy here as she falls hard to the ground. I think she's gonna be okay and will be rewarded with 2 free throws. So here's the miss by Achanwa and a great offensive rebounding read there by that woman, number 15, as she fell hard after the shot attempt, but she's going to stay in and shoot her 2 free throws.
And she misses the second, and Plum now.
Plum just takes it all the way. Nice strip by Heel. It's gonna stay red ball. Kelsey Plum's been kind of quiet. Hasn't shot a whole lot.
Yeah, she's got 2 points. She's only shot 1 shot and she's made it. So She only played 8 minutes as well.
Thomas. And Sammy Hill is going to be called for a holding foul.
I think it's quite difficult to say, you know, oh, she's quite quiet, Plum, but you know, when somebody else is going off right now, obviously Stewart's on the bench, but she's the hot hand right now, so they go to her until the well dries up. And now she's on the bench, there'll be somebody else who will step up into that scoring position.
Plum to Thomas. Thomas, you mentioned it, maybe not the prettiest of shots because of shoulder injuries in both shoulders. I actually think she changed her free throw to shooting with her other arm because of her shoulder issues.
Yeah, I heard the crowd say, what? Because they're so unorthodox shooting, but she does have the torn shoulders.
Naira Fields, hang time layup off the mark. USA an opportunity to run. Plum gives it up. And that shot is blocked by Amy here. Great job by her, and the referee blows the whistle, even though it was a 2-on-1 opportunity for Canada. So missed opportunity, great block by Leticia Amy here, and then here you'll see it. So the foul is gonna go against Ariel Atkins, fouling Sammy Hill. And really, it was a 2-on-1 for Canada,
Yeah.
though. It was a foul. I think it's a good call by the referee, but had you let it go, maybe it would have been 2 points. But now, Naira Fields setting things up for Canada. Emmy here. Maybe was intimidated a little bit by Wilson.
See, I don't know why she keeps doing that. It's just like she needs the dribble to get her rhythm. She's cutting up there. You have a wide open 15-footer jump shot, honey. It's like a free throw. Shoot that thing. Stop driving in. You're wide open earlier.
And clearly that's the scout. They know that Amy here wants to drive to the basket.
Sagging off her, you're right.
We've already seen her knock down 1-3 in this game, though, and I completely agree with you. I think she needs to take those shots and develop that shot. Wilson with a big offensive rebound, not able to score, but she's going to go to the free throw line, and that was off of Jewel Lloyd's miss.
Big rebound by Asia Wilson, and we'll take a trip to the free throw line. Makes the first.
So, good job by Asia Wilson, excuse me, as Canada going to some substitutions here. Just under 4 minutes left to play in this third quarter. Semifinal action, USA leading Canada 56-27. Well, how about this? We see number 16 in for Canada, Sammy Hill, tough take, and great offensive rebound, kick out to Naira Fields, well off the mark. Good hustle, it's going to stay Canada ball. So, Maëlle Gilles from Canada, number 16, 25 years of age. She's only played in one game, and that was against Mali.
Yeah, and why not? Sub her in right now, nothing's really going right. Give your young ones a time to play, and also she's bringing energy.
Achamwa, she's open. Off the back of the rim, Wilson with a big defensive rebound. Now Plum just goes all the way to the basket.
Well, there you go. Shona, you said she's been a bit quiet. And she can score oh so quickly. And that's her 4th point and her 2nd shot.
Hill gets it inside to Achamwa. Hill step back 3-point shot. Hits the back iron. Wilson with another defensive rebound. Plum finds Atkins running the floor. Nice little hang time, and her basket is good.
Perfect little dime there by Plum to Atkins, right on the money. Easy finish.
So you said it was a low-scoring quarter. The U.S. in the last few possessions have picked it up a little bit as far as scoring goes. Koenig. Well, Achanwa is wide open at the three-point line. I think she hesitated a little bit too much on that shot, as Lloyd now. Step back, well short. Carlton comes up with the rebound. Hill, extra pass to Koenig. Her three-point shot rolls in and out. And another defensive board for Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson's just cleaning it all up right now.
And a foul is going to go against Gilles, number 16 of Canada.
And Asia Wilson just says, damn, she's having to work hard. Gilles there really moving and getting her arms involved. And Asia is shooting. Sorry, she went to go sub, but Jones has got to wait for that sub until her shots have been taken.
And substitutions now for the U.S. We have just under 2 minutes left to play in the third quarter as that free throw rolls in.
There's Kayla George from Australia. She's watching on. And they're the next game. They've got the big game versus China, as the arena will no doubt be sold out. We've got the home nation as Asia Wilson has her double-double. Nice little evening for you, honey. 14 points, 12 rebounds. Go ahead, sit down and rest because you've done your work.
Che gives it up to Koenig, who finds Nurse. Hill, nothing really to do, so she just holds on to the ball on the ground because she had no one to pass to, as Plum goes over and ties it up. So it's going to be a jump ball. Ball Canada. There is 0.7 seconds on the shot clock, though.
I kind of like this. Some people might think this is silly. Why didn't you try and pass it? But you know, as soon as you pass it, that's going to be a turnover and a quick score. So they do only have 0.7, but at least it's still their possession.
Well, 0.7, you got to throw the ball closer to the rim and just try and tip it in. But you also don't want to turn it over. So not a bad decision there by Canada.
But I don't think Che, the young buck, knew there was even 0.7, and those are learning lessons in her career.
Atkins drives baseline, goes right at the taller Che, and is able to score.
Nice drive and finish by Atkins.
Nurse has been well defended in this game. She steps through the defense and is able to draw the foul against Jones. So she'll go to the free throw line for two.
The foul is on the USA number 7 Ariel Atkins, her third team foul.
And we see number 6 for the U.S., Sabrina Ionesco, making her first appearance in this game.
Yes, she's subbed in. Atkins, though, is on 3 fouls, so it'll be interesting to see if they sub her or not. What were you going to tell me, Shona? No? Okay. Yeah, they've sent a sub in for her, no doubt. Here we go, Atkins with the ball.
Plum, three-point shot, no good. Jones, though, there for the offensive rebound as they get it back to Plum. Ionescu back to Plum. And good defensive job there by Canada. It's going to be a turnover for the USA. I think Kelsey Plum thought she was pushed out of bounds.
She wants the foul. And it comes off of her foot first. I don't think that's a foul, Plum. I'm sorry. Referees are always right, remember, Shona?
Well, we have the advantage of replay.
Multiple replays, yes, we do.
Nurse now. Little pull-up jump shot at the free throw line. Jones comes up with a defensive board, gives it up to Plum. As Plum drives and passes to no one. "14 seconds in this quarter. So one last shot for Canada. Koenig comes off her three-point shot, front of the rim. Still lots of time, though, for the USA to score as Unescu with a deep three-point shot at the buzzer is good. And that's what happens when you shoot a little bit too early at the end of the quarter, folks. So the US, with those 3 extra buckets at the buzzer by number 6, are leading Canada 67-29.
Well, no doubt that's going to be, that's going to be a highlight as her bench love it. Chelsea Gray there with a nice flying smile. And then a learning lesson there is the score, end of the third quarter.
29-67 for the USA.
And Victor LaPena took Koenig to the side and said, look, you do not shoot that early. He definitely taught that that lesson, there. 14% is the game for me, for Canada, not shooting a good clip at all from the 2-point. And they only scored 8. Another low-scoring quarter for Canada. But, you know, USA started off slow, but then they started to find their feet as we get to see how they found it in the third quarter. Highlights and best plays.
Well, always teaching and always coaching is Victor LaPena. I understand why Aisling Koenig wanted to take that last shot. She is a very, very good three-point shooter. Yeah. But you need to know the time of the game clock, shot clock, and a great learning lesson. Unfortunately, her shot a little bit too early leads to 3 extra points for the USA at the end of the third quarter.
Well, US scoring slowed down a little as we get to see Thomas's little unorthodox shot, but it definitely works when you've got 2 torn shoulders, whatever it takes. I really appreciate her hard work, her kind of, you know, not giving up. That's difficult to play like that.
She averages just under 11 points a game in this tournament. So clearly scoring is not really an issue for her.
But I don't think America is going to get their 100 points, but who knows? Let's see what this last fourth quarter of action is going to give us.
Well, 10 minutes left in the first of 2 semifinals here at this year's FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup as Atkins just goes hard to the basket, and her 2 points is good. You see Taya Hansen in for Canada along with Koenig, Gilles, Amy here, and Hill. What do you think about that lineup for Canada?
Yeah,
Zania?
A completely different 5. You know, haven't played a lot of minutes together as a unit, but why not? Why not throw some things together? Because you do play tomorrow as Gilles puts up a shot and misses badly.
So do you think Coach Victor LaPena has conceded this game and is now concentrating on that possible bronze medal game?
That's a great point, Shona, that you make. You've got to play tomorrow, right? Here we see Plum's drive and foul as she takes on 2 defenders. Wonderful point, yes. This has been a long tournament and you need your starters. You see the full starting lineup on the bench. You give the minutes to your bench players and the experience, right? Because at the end of the day, you do need your bench players as well, but you need your starters as you're trying to medal. You don't want to go home with 4th place and go home with no hardware. You want at least to be on the podium.
Well, USA already 4 points in this quarter. Hansen getting some minutes here for Canada as she turns the ball over. And every turnover just seems to lead to something good for the USA. Plum, we see her ball handling. Good job there on the defensive end. Koenig's the one who comes up with it. Hill is open, decides to drive. That's a tough layup.
Body's
Unescu
flying.
with the defensive board, excuse me. And that's going to be a foul going against Hansen.
Getting a little physical and touchy this quarter. A lot of banging bodies and also flying. But yeah, I like this 5. Why not? Try it out. And a timeout.
So let's try and listen in to Coach Victor LaPena in this timeout.
Hold down. Mile here. Hello, one-on-one. You have advantage in one-on-one if you want, okay? We want to involve Brianna Jones in the pick and roll, but guys, they are defending trap. Play Riet. Once we play Riet, Naira, I think, shot from corner, okay? Play wide, don't play here. Huh? How many fouls you have? 2. And stop them and be super aggressive to offensive rebound. We are super soft, okay, in offensive rebound. If we play motion normal. It's not necessary to go here. And finally, Brianna Jones, please, snap as well, snap.
Well, Azania, it doesn't matter if it's the starters or the bench players. LaPena is not going to let anyone off, and he still wants his team to play well and improve. And even if he possibly has conceded this game, you still want to get better and be prepared for tomorrow. You still have an opportunity to medal at a World Cup. You don't want to go into that 3rd place game with your heads low and feeling out of sorts because you didn't play your style of game.
I would have to agree with you here, and Austin misses, but you're right. Get back into your rhythm. At least finish this last 10 minutes. The style that's been so successful for you to get you to a semi-final in the World Cup.
Koenig. Emmy here. Drives baseline, reverse layup, rolls in. Good offensive movement there by Canada.
Nice move. And that seems to be Emmy Hare's scout. She likes to put it on the floor.
And we forgot to mention, you saw there Victor LaPena talking to his assistant coach, Noelle Quinn, who is also a head coach in the WNBA and clearly knows Brianna Stewart very well as she coaches her in Seattle, along with some other players. So
yeah, Lloyd's on that.
That Lloyd, a lot of coaches, big-time coaches here in this FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. Emmy here, tough take. Austin with the rebound.
Good defense there by Jones, just sticking up.
And Jones, you mentioned it, good defense, a little bit out of control on that take. We have a 3-on-1 for Canada. They find Koenig, and that's a good offensive possession for Canada. They weren't able to score, but they come up with the offensive rebound. Koenig lets it fly again, no good. Austin now gets it to Plum. And a blocking foul is gonna go against Sammy Hill. I believe it was on the floor though. Oh no, basket is good, excuse me. So good job there, staying with it by Kelsey Plum.
Yeah, that's the right call here. She's in her bag of skills. Takes the hit and then goes into her 2 steps and then to the basket. That is an and one. Nice. It's only an and one, guys.
Yeah.
Hello.
She made the basket. Let's go. So both teams didn't really know what was going on other than Plum running back saying, no, I got my 3 points. Koenig, nice crossover. Little floater is good for her.
The speed of Plum is incredible.
And Jones wide open. She just pushes Gilles to the floor.
Yeah, Gilles, you're not going to win that battle.
Jones is going to be called for a defensive foul.
Yeah, I like this 5 right now. They're playing quite energized here as Jones got rid of Jill off of her. But yeah, I like this 5. It's such a good point. Play your bench as Che comes in, the other 18-year-old. You've got to worry about tomorrow, which is another day, is the bronze medal game.
And great job there by Maëlle Gilles as she scores 2 points. And that is her first 2 points of this tournament, Azania. 3-point shot in the corner off the rim. Austin with the offensive rebound. Jones to Plum. Plum is a shooter. That's not on the scouting. I don't know what else will be. But you got to get up and put a little bit pressure on a player like Kelsey Plum.
A little bit. You need to be right up under her, Shona.
So good job, nice hands there by Laney. And Canada not shooting the ball well as they are at around 18, 19% of this game.
Awful day at the office.
It is very terrible.
Yeah.
They are not on the right side of history statistically today as Koenig misses that shot, as the fewest shooting percentage they have had is 27% in the last 30 years at the World Cup. So clearly it has not been their day shooting-wise for Canada.
Yeah, and if you're going to have a chance at beating USA, it has to be perfect as Austin manages to get the turnover.
But Koenig gets it back. She finds Gilles, who goes all the way to the basket. So good job. And almost come up with another steal is Koenig. And Gilles now with the most points that she has scored all tournament, 4. Backdoor cut. Hansen, though,
this Canadian 5, yeah, this Canadian 5 playing really hard, right? You've got nothing to lose. Play your heart out.
Che going at Jones as Che, nice little shot off the backboard, and a great job by this younger crew of Canada to give them a little bit of a boost and maybe a little bit of confidence or feeling this is how we want to play.
Yeah.
This is how you want to win a medal.
And you force USA to take a timeout. That's a big deal when that happens. We'll try and listen in to Cheryl's. If not, she's just outside doing a few board work. Okay, here we go. Let's listen in to the timeout.
Want to play some pistols, guys? Everything in the rim is hard, so stop it. Stop it. All right, everybody's trying to throw there. All right, just 15. All right, Bree, you're gonna go big. Here, you're gonna go Sabrina's flying over. Same time, but guys, you're gonna go on the screen for Bree. Hey, Bree, you're hitting Sad. Sad, you're trying to throw it into Bree. It's over. Right? It's over. We're in green. Remember.
Oh, that's a really nice picture there. Che getting a chest bump from Bridget Carlton for scoring that bucket.
Well, how do you like this lineup by Canada? You have Koenig, 24 years old, Hill, the veteran, at 27, Gilles, 25, Che, 18, and Hansen, 22 years old. Talk about getting some good experience.
Yep, good young.
Against the best team in the world.
Yeah, and Hill, she keeps... excuse me. I saw something that wasn't very nice, but Hill keeps getting in the way and using her body. She needs to get her hands out and put her body in the position. They're always going to call that a foul. But she's having the hard task to guard Plum.
Jones just gets low post position, can't score, gets her offensive rebound, turns it over. Koenig
And another stop by Canada. Good defense.
Gilles off the mark, fight for the boards. Jones comes up with it, gets it to Laney. Unescu had that big shot at the end of the third quarter because Canada shot a little bit too early. Jones with a spin move, and what a block by Filipina Che.
Get that out of here. Good job, Che. That might be her third block she gave Asia Wilson to. Beautiful minutes from this young 18-year-old. Way to step up. Good defense. And really, this is USA's 5 that are on the bench most of the time playing this game also. Their starters are sitting.
Well, they have a game tomorrow, so does Canada. And it's a medal game tomorrow, as this is the first of 2 semifinals here today at the Sydney Superdome. We have China and Australia. Nice pass inside to Che, just not able to hold on to it.
That's disappointing. You know what that is? That is scoring the bucket before you catch it. And I think you see a lot of young players do this. Here's the block, though. This looks very good. We'll take that. Yeah, how important the catch is. You've got to catch it first, then score. I know that sounds so silly, but so many players go and do their move before they catch it.
You said it. Jones, high-low look into Austin. It's going to go off of Canada. Eight seconds left on the shot clock. We have 3 minutes and 34 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Plum. Nice job defensively by Hill there. I think Hill is starting to frustrate Kelsey Plum a little bit. What do you think?
I would have to agree with you. She's kind of talking to herself, Plum.
Shot clock. What about that step back? And Gilles there going for the defensive board, but it's tipped out of bounds by Austin. Sorry, go ahead.
Excuse me. I was going to say, when Kelsey Plum gets angry, she starts looking aggressive and looks for her own as she shot that shot. Missed it. But you better be careful.
Hill, nice little pull-up jump shot around the free throw line. And that is her first 2 points of the game.
Plum.
Well, she can score. That one's off the mark. No one boxed out Jones. Easy offensive rebound and put back for her. Hansen, back iron. Jones comes up with a defensive board, gets it to Plum. And Laney now turns, no, Jones gets it. Hansen comes up with the rebound, and it's gonna be just a silly reach-in foul there going against Shakira Austin.
Yeah, and Che here really altering that shot. Could be a block, I don't know what you want to call it.
I don't know if it was a pass or a shot.
It's, yeah, a pass. She just gets her hands in the way. That's a good job. Post player keeping her hands high. And another turnover.
There you saw them, Azania. The starting 5 for this USA team getting some rest before that gold medal game tomorrow. Nice penetration by Hansen, finds Koenig, she can't make it. We have a 3-on-2. Unescu, extra pass to Laney, isn't able to hold on to it. So ball back to Canada. Quite a few turnovers by this USA group that they have out right now.
Yeah, and Unescu there either should go up with it or take a retreat dribble.
And again, this is kind of a young crew by the USA. You have Plum, okay, the veteran, 28 years old. Gilles, little fancy footwork as she uses the glass and now has 6 points to her name.
Yeah, nice.
But we also, so we have Plum, the veteran, 28. You have Sabrina Unescu, 24 years old. Jones, 26. Laney, 28, and then Austin, 22. So it is a younger group for the USA as well on the court right now. As that 3-point shot hits the front of the iron. And Gilles comes up with the rebound.
Well, I think Canada right now, obviously they're down a lot, but they've tied USA for scoring. It's 14-14 this quarter. This 5 on the floor is obviously young and up and coming, but I feel like they've done very well. They haven't been scared. They've looked for their shots. They've done well, and they're playing out this last minute.
Plum, pull up, rolls in. Well, Azania, I'm gonna anticipate that the USA win this game. And we know that they will either face Australia for the 2nd time in a row at a FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup, where they played them in Tenerife, Spain back in 2018 with the USA winning that. Or will they go up against China, where we saw China and the US go up against each other early in this tournament. Nice hustle, Hill's shot is off. And they beat China, but it was a close game, 77-63.
Yeah, you're right.
As the US are just going to dribble the ball out and let the game clock wind down. So USA are moving on to the finals as they beat Canada big, 83-43 in the first of 2 semifinals here today.
Well, Canada knew they had their hands full. This USA team is so strong. Their starting 5 really got them off to a great start. 27 points they scored in the first quarter. They did their work early and really had a good time for the rest of the game. Canada dug themselves in a hole, couldn't get out, and went to their bench deep. As USA will clap and say thank you to the crowd. Thank you for having us, and a great game as you get to see some of the fans in the crowd.
So the USA, Azania, moving on. It is going to be their 9th final at a FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. No other team in the world has been able to do that, and that is how powerful for how long this USA program has been. Unfortunately, Canada only scoring 43 points. That is the lowest tally of points scored in a semifinal. Before that, it was Korea with 53 back in 2002 against Russia. Not a great statistical category that you want to be on the side of.
No, and sadly, you know, that's the lowest they've scored as a unit too, as we get to see the best players of the second half. Canada, for me, like I said, that first quarter, they looked scared, they looked overwhelmed, and it was really just the rush and the push of USA's physicalness, their long leanness, their toughness on defense. They didn't really have any answers for it.
I agree with you, Azania. This did not look like the Canada team that you and I have been following all tournament long.
Yeah.
And the fans back home as well. I know Canada basketball and all their fans following them at home have been incredibly happy and excited about what this team is doing. And they just unfortunately showed a different side. But I think we have to give credit where credit is due, Azania. This USA team and this USA program are very, very good.
Man, they come from champions, yeah? Gold medals after gold medals. There is a way they have to follow. And they came here ready to fight. They didn't come here thinking, oh, it's going to be given to us. They put in the work, and they put in the work early. But then, you know, you had Asia Wilson with 15, you have Stewart with 17 on your bench chilling. You know, they had a great time. And then Kelsey Plum finished with 14 points, and then you also had Alyssa Thomas with 10. So you had multiple players in double digits. Yet again, they're averaging 7 players in double digits. It's a scary USA, and they're looking good for the gold.
Well, you mentioned it. They got to rest some of their bigger stars, or the players who play bigger minutes, the USA, as we saw them sit all of that fourth quarter and some of the third. The likes of Gray, Stewart playing under 20 minutes a game. What a great opportunity for Coach Reeves to also evaluate some of the other players who get less minutes. Now it's time for Canada to regroup and try and focus on that bronze medal game tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. That was the first of 2 semifinals. Canada losing by 43-83 over the USA. Don't go far for long because, boy, do we have a good game for you coming up soon. Australia, the home team, taking on China. Who will be playing the USA? We will find out shortly. Thanks from Shona and Azania. World Cup action has been great so far. We will see you later. Good night.